Hold on, guys. Okay. Wait 1 second. Oh, wait. I just saw something nice. Okay, all links are sent. Okay, let's take a look at my. Hold on. How you doing, Celine? Good evening. Good evening, and good evening to all that is attending this stream slash podcast. As you know, I am Chaos Rain here, the one and only Chaos Rain. And also, if you're not familiar with the Chaos Rain channel, or if you are subscribed for the first time, welcome. Thank you. And for those that will subscribe in the near future, streaming here on podcasting and on YouTube as well, type in the name Chaos Rain. And as you type and you find my channel, please hit the red button and hit the top bell for all uploads and notifications when I go live here on the YouTube. Also, you can follow me on Twitter now at ChaosRain7, and also you can follow me on Facebook, Eric Rain on Facebook. And as you know, this is the chat room. I will put those links there now for those the people to follow. And I also got a Discord as well, which you could also subscribe to my Discord. I think so. You know, it's interesting. A woman asked me, "Will it be chaos?" I'll say, "Nah." Oh, I see that I'm getting response. Interesting. Let me see if I could find the Discord link for those who want to add me on Discord as well. Oh, the battery died. Oh. And how you doing, Nordine? Announcements. The Porn Talk will be re-airing this week. Me and Kai are gonna talk about the latest, not news, but also insight in regards to all your freaky, gooey, cum, bust nuts, pleasure. On Porn Talk. So make sure you are hit the top bell when I will stream that broadcast. The subject of the Porn Talk, just stay tuned. I'll give you detail once the stream is set up. So be patient. Oh damn, I forgot this. Hold on, guys. I forgot something. Oh, that's right. All right, hold on, guys. I'm trying to open my Discord so I could share the link here on Discord for those that. And to let y'all know, I have not used Discord a lot of last year. Even going on this year, I kind of left it alone because I was going and shifting to a different direction and how I'm going to utilize Discord. But I've noticed more content creators are messing with Discord. So I will take the opportunity to apply and use it more based on Chaos Rain channel. So if y'all have any ideas or you want to share any insight, yes, add me on Discord and we'll chop it up on there as well. Okay, I got the Discord link ready. So let me send this and put this here. And let's be honest. It's a nice little app platform at the end of the day. I sometimes will be more interactive with Discord, but like I said, I have so much on my plate with the editing and other things that I just have to try to make time overall to really and truly use Discord and use the full capability of Discord. So now let me see. And I'm oh, my fault. Let me stop that. Oh, not that. Let me create an invite. And this is for the chaos room. Okay, I found it, so I'll post this here. And I'll post some other links for y'all to follow on. And I see you post some. And for those, if y'all guys want to come up and give your take or opinions after I read this article on the subject at hand, please press 1. And another thing I will also do right now, since I'm here waiting for everybody to get settled, I think this is very important. Let me do this. I almost forgot this. There's going to be a poll. Let's look at the poll. Oh, matter of fact, this would be a good poll. Is 6 weeks a fair time table for a woman to abort a child? That is the question. And I would love for y'all to participate in the vote. And at the end of the stream, I'll tally up what is there. And make sure, oh, I forgot. Please like the stream as well. Hit the like button as you come in. Also, share the stream as well. And one other thing, I'm probably going to put Twitter on here as well. Let me see. My profile. Let me find my profile. I got to find the link on Twitter. Okay, here is the Twitter. That's my Twitter. And one other thing, I will probably put the Facebook now. For those who want to follow me on Facebook. And I'm doing this live. I goes else. Oh, y'all not. I gotta add y'all. I gotta read the Facebook. I tell you, it's crazy on Facebook. Yeah, let me add the Facebook as well. I'm just setting the parameters. Okay, there's the links. And also, and one more thing. And also, if y'all be so kind, you could donate to the channel. Try and make this channel be what it is, you know. And like always, your support is always appreciative. Now, what is the subject for tonight's show? I'm glad y'all asked. Today's stream is titled, Abortion is no longer illegal in Texas. Now what? Now what? It should be the most important question somebody should be asking. What do we do now? Now, why now I've taken the time to really examine this at hand? Because let's be fair honest. I've noticed when Texas was in the process of making this a reality and putting this through a bill and passing this back maybe a year ago or possibly 2 years ago, and even winding down during the beginning parts of the summertime, that they were already going and made the decision that they're going to push through with this bill. Now, people never understand, why would Texas, out of all states, want to cut in the time from, I guess, was it 3 to 4 months to now less than a month, or actually a month and a week or two? Because if y'all not been paying attention lately, there has been a slight decline of white life, white birth, white everything. And there's no recourse of how they're going to able to catch up in regards to numbers, in regards to births. And let's be fair and honest. If their numbers are not replaceable from what we're seeing now, they are declining. And they all know when things are decline, people will eventually, if not careful, will find themselves in the extinction process. And we use the word extinction loosely. One thing is evident, that there's no shortcomings when it comes to life. And let's be fair and honest. Enough people have talked about this. Hell, some might have read the bill. And a lot of people, especially women, are in their feelings to find that Texas, out of all states in the union, has taken the greater step to start pushing back on how many times and the timetable you women could go and murder your children or murder your babies inside your womb. Whatever the case may be, the law has been passed. You might have to eventually get over it. But before we can get over it, let's read into the depths of this. Shall we? All right. Let's look into this. And this is from the Texas Tribune. And let me do this. Hope y'all can see this. I'm going to make the screen a little bigger. There we go. In the Texas Tribune, Governor Greg Abbott signs into law one of the nation's strictest abortion measures, banning procedures as early as 6 weeks into a pregnancy. And look at this. Look at this. You see this picture? Look at all these fucking women. At least there's not no sisters in this picture, because normally when they talk about abortion, they'll like to put the face of black women as the face of abortion. But I'm kind of glad they didn't do that. You see, it's everybody else, racial groups, mostly white women on here. Let's read. The signing of the bill opens a new frontier in the battle over abortion restrictions as first of its kind. Legal provisions intend to make the law harder to challenge are proposed to be tested in the courts. This was done and written by Shannon Majaba, May 19, 2021. Now, as we go down, now actually, if I really open the window, there's some update about this. I'm looking at this now. Okay. And there's many more of this. There's a lot of articles. This one came out on July 9th. So before I read on, let me see if any other up-to-dates. I'm just looking right now. All right. All right. Well, let's read this one because I could waste time. Wait, I'm looking one more time. Make sure that's last year. All right. Okay. Okay, I think I found some recently. But before I read this one, I'm just removing the commercials. Let's read the one I have up here at hand. And before I read, let me read y'all comments, see what's going on here before I get into the article. I'm probably going to read both articles. This one's short, but let me see what y'all guys saying first before I read the comments. Let's take a look. From Nordine, he writes, more information came out about Miss Mercedes Moore, and it doesn't look good for her. Yeah, I covered that already. I don't know what was wrong with Miss Tasha K when she decided to go. Okay, well, yeah. When I open up Nordine, you could probably talk about that. Let me skip on. We got Bitcoin L in the house. Let's see. Great. Okay, as she was okay, right? Yeah. I see WWE talk about abortion than black women on social media platform. Really? If you want, Celine, if we're friends on Facebook or whatever, you could post that or send to me on Facebook or Twitter if you can, Celine. I would appreciate that. I like to see that. But nonetheless, let me read the thing. Okay. Governor Greg Abbott signs into law Wednesday a measure that would prohibit in Texas abortion as early as 6 weeks, before some women know they are pregnant, and open the doors for almost any private citizen to sue abortion providers and others. The signing of the bill opens a new frontier in the battle over abortion restrictions as first of its kind legal provisions intended to make the law harder to block or pose to be tested in the courts. Okay. Abortion rights advocates had promised to challenge the new laws, which they consider one of the most extreme nationwide and the strictest in Texas, seemed to landmark Roe v. Wade decision. It would amount to an outright ban on abortions as little as 6 weeks. The cutoff is 2 weeks after a missing menstrual cycle, opponents say. The law takes effect in September. Our Creator endows us with the right to life, and yet millions of children lose their right to life every year because of abortion. Abbott said in a bill signed ceremony captures on video posted on social media. The legislature works together on a bipartisan base to pass a bill that I'm about to sign that ensures that the life of every unborn child who has a heartbeat will be saved from the ravage of abortion. Governor signature comes just after the U.S. Supreme Court said it would hear a case concerning a Mississippi law that would ban most abortions after 15 weeks, and which could lead to a new limit on abortion rights. Now, I'm not sure what he means by the rights more, from this highlighted here, but it is the first major abortion case heard before the court newly expanded majorities and could have far-reach effects for Texas, where a pending bill would outlaw nearly all abortions if the Supreme Court overrules Roe v. Wade. Now, if y'all not familiar with Roe v. Wade, that was one of the few things that was set in place when abortion was legal in 1973. That's a span of nearly that's now 48 years. And remember, Texas took the initiative to roll back these laws. Now, if y'all remember what was going on during the 60s and moving on to the 70s, there was this thing what we call free love, sex craze, aka the feminist movement start to take on a life on its own, even to the point where now most women feel that they should, fucking suck any Tom, Hank, and Henry as they please. And with this sexual promiscuous behavior, it leads to a lot of problems, if I like to say so myself. And this problems is that these women, when you mess around and just, open your legs to any man, the potentiality of conception is inevitable. And mind, this is this process where they had the pill, the birth control pill, back in the early 60s, mind you. So it opened up the doors for a lot of women to be, if they've not been sexually molested or touched, raped, or we want to call it, it creates a sense of enticement. So it fuels their fire to be wanting more of that itch, where they want something strong and hard in their womb. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna let y'all fantasize on that. Let's continue. Senate Bill 8 was a top priority of Republican lawmakers, nearly all of whom signed on as author or sponsors of the measure. The bill bans abortion after whenever an ultrasound can detect what lawmakers define as a fatal heartbeat, which can be as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy. Medical and legal experts say the term of misleading because embryos don't possess a heart at the development stage. Well, to really give you more insight, and I talked to my good friend, and I was listening from Clubhouse, Kansu. That's a lie. There is the fetus. Once the fetus is conception, it's alive, and it's alive and well. So if anybody and anyone talking about said they'd improve prove that there's no living organism in your womb after you conceive, they're telling you a lie. They knew this. They knew and they understand the science for years now, maybe decades. But the reason why abortion was so legal as it was is because the end game is to reduce the population of people. And since the advent of abortion, legalizing abortion, the population still grew. Surprisingly. Did you know that? But, I'm gonna let y'all think on that. It includes cases where the woman was impregnated as a result of rape or incest. There is an exception for medical emergencies. Similar bills have been passed by other states and held up by the court, but Texas version has a twist. Instead of having the government enforce the law, the bill. Hold on a second, guys. All right, let's continue. Including cases that, all right, I read that right. Similar bills have been passed through states, and Texas version has a twist. Instead of having the government enforce the law, the bill returns the rules over to private citizens who are newly empowered to sue abortions providers or anyone who helped someone get an abortion. After a fatal heartbeat has been detected, the person would not have to be connected to someone who had an abortion or to a provider to sue. Proponent of the new law hopes to get around the legal challenges that have tied up abortion restrictions in the court. While abortion providers typically sue the state to stop a restrictive abortion law from taking effect, there is no state official enforcing Senate Bill 8. Y'all can look that up, Senate Bill 8. Not doing it here. Y'all can find that for yourself. So there is no one to sue. The bill proponents said it is a very unique law and is a very clever law, said Josh Blackman, a constitutional law professor at Scott of South Texas College of Law of Houston. Planned Parenthood can go to court and sue Attorney General Ken Paxton like they usually would because he has no role in enforcement the statutes. They have to basically sit and wait to be sued. Okay? The legal experts have been dividing on the strategies of abortion rights advocates have said they plan to fight regardless. Now, let me stop right here. I'm put a highlight here. I'm going to go to y'all chat rooms. Knowing they put all this, and they still want to fight this because they don't want something like this, which has already been passed, people, mind you, that they don't really want the state, the judicial system, or any other upper of systems in regards to law passing to have something like this floating around and automatically pass through. Now, I'm not sure if this is some people trying to protect Planned Parenthood as an institution, which I think was it Trump that stepped in and really wanted to really defund Planned Parenthood when he was in office. I could be wrong. I don't know if anybody could correct me on this, but they were already in the direction of really cutting back of what we call baby deaths in America. And this was a process, like I said before, and I'll say this again, that they were already going to take action for the last 10 to 20 years. It's nothing new. Now, let me see. Some people wrote some in the chat room. Yeah, I honestly, even though a lot of Black women, not all, but a lot were very overt in their sexuality, they at least seem to have empathy for life and don't pose things like normalizing abortion. Yeah. No coincidence, the feminist movement was right at the time of Roe v. Wade. Yeah. All this was designed during a time where they were going to decide they were going to start saying we got to get control of the population. Now, the reason I'm saying population people to bring fear or scares is you know that you always hear them talking about saying that there's too much people globally. We're now at almost 8 billion people now. And we should be at that number now, either this year or next year. If I could double check what's the status of population. And matter of fact, let me look at that now. Well, what you know? The population right now, as it stands, from Google, we are now at 7.9 billion. We're almost at 8 billion. By the end of this year, we should be at 8 billion. So let me see what else wrote on it. All right. I'm scrolling down the chat room. Okay, women can't seem to connect sex with child. They can't. Because sex is a leisure. It's like pleasure. They forgot, say, when you play with sex, this is the consequence of playing with sex. You're going to conceive and bring forth fruit, which is a child. Black people only make up 13% of the population, but 40% of Black children are killed in the womb. The Black population would be around 23 to 26% if abortion wasn't legal. Yeah, that also plays into the factor. Let me continue reading on because this is very lengthy. Elizabeth Smith, Chief Courser of State Policy and Advocacy at the Center for Reproductive Rights, which represent providers who have sued Texas officials, said it is other abortion rights organizations and not going to let this 6-week ban go unchallenged. Darceli Tigard, Policy and Advocacy Strategist of America's Civil Liberties Union of Texas, said the governor swipe of a pen can change the Constitution. While the law amounts to the most extreme abortion bans in the country, abortion is both legal in Texas and supported by the majority of Texans. Tigger said, abortion rights advocates and law lawyers said the new law would allow for a cascade of lawsuits against abortion providers that would snap their time and money, even if they ultimately won in court. Yeah. Family members and abortion fund rape crisis counselor and other medical professionals could be open to lawsuits under the broad language in the bill. According to legal experts and physicians who oppose the measures, people who sue would be awarded at least 10 grand as well as the cost for attorney fees if they won. Okay. Even Citizens is now a private attorney general. Black man said, you can have random people who are against abortion start suing tomorrow. Okay. John Siago, with Texas Right to Life and anti-abortion organizations that support the bill, said that no doubt there would be an overwhelming number of cases a day. Lawsuits might file by anti-abortion activists who learned through talking to the woman that she got an abortion after 6 weeks. And here's this one. There's going to be a lot of different facts patterns that could lead to the case. He said, but the bill isn't throwing out the typical way that the judicial system works there. Still going to be a judge there, still going to be depositions. There's going to be a high bar before fees are awarded. The ultimate goal, he said, is to incentivize abortion providers to comply with the law instead of fighting it in court. They can easily avoid all of that, Sago said, having a public statement put on their website that they're not scheduling appointments after 6 weeks. Okay. The bill does not allow rapists to sue, but abortion rights advocates say the wording, often flimsy, protects as most rapes and sexual assaults aren't reported, and don't result in a conviction. Most abortions in Texas were prohibited after about 20 weeks. Pill-induced abortions were buried at 10 weeks. An abortion provider must perform a sonogram on the woman 24 hours before the abortion and give them information about medical risks. Abortion alternates the assistance available to those who follow through with their pregnancy. More than 26,000 abortions were performed on Texas residents in 2019, according to state statistics, most of them in the first trimester. And I think that's the first few weeks or the first few months. Proponents of the law celebrates its signing. The legislation and government prioritized this historical legislation, and with his signature, approximately 50,000 precious human lives will be saved in Texas next year alone, said Chelsea Yaman with Human Consultation Actions and Anti-Abortion Organization. Let me pause right here for a second. Now, if you notice here in the state of Texas, some were prohibited after 20 weeks. Now, if my math could do me, if my math is right, 20 weeks is, there's 4 weeks in a month. Four. You're looking at roughly 4 months and 2 weeks. And most pregnancy you don't give birth until after 36 weeks, I think, or 40 weeks, maybe. Could be wrong. Yeah, no, I'm right. Yeah, almost over 40 weeks. Okay. Now, let me ask y'all this. Okay, trimester is every 3 weeks. Thank you. Months. Okay. 5 months. But as you know, we look at the math, 20 weeks, that's still roughly, because 4 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Yeah, I'm right. 4.5 months. So, yeah. And make sure y'all like the video as well and share this. I'm just covering this. It seems to me that doing it after the first trimester and a period of 4.5 weeks, 20 weeks, that is considered murder, unfortunately. And I think that's too far off for somebody to start kill the womb in 4 months. 4 months and a half, actually. And to be honest with you, this was really a calculated move on Texas side because they give you no more than a month. Now, I hear most women say they don't know if they're pregnant after a month, maybe 2 months, maybe. And to me, if you as a woman, if you're not aware that you are pregnant and you are having either protected or non-protected sex, and you didn't find out you're pregnant until you actually go and get your checkup in the hospital after a couple months, tells me you are very disconnected with your body, and you need to really consult with a doula and a spiritual woman, or some woman that will teach you how to reconnect with your body. There's no way in hell you as an adult, which most of these women that is getting pregnant now in America for the past 20 years are adult age, are very disconnected with their bodies. And like always, there's always signs when you're pregnant. Now, some people said women don't really experience symptoms. That's what I'm hearing. And I'm saying, okay, if you're not experiencing symptoms, that tells me you are not really connected with your own body. I know of a few women that has carried children and has changed her behavior and switched onto a more cultural route. She has told me personally, she knows when she is conceiving, when she's not conceiving. She knows when the days when to have sex and when not to. Now, I don't expect every woman of all race to understand this or what I'm telling you, but there are ways that you will know if you know how your body functions properly. And that's going to take work, not just physical. It's going to take some spiritual work with the work you're going to do with yourselves, with your exercise, meditation, all this stuff to know where your body's at. But let's move on. Let's look. Texas Right to Life calls the bill sign a landmark victory, but said a more comprehensive measure was still waiting for a vote in the legislature. Texas Right to Life reminds our elected officials of their solemn duty to protect the lives of their citizens, especially the most vulnerable and innocent Texans in the womb. The signing of the Texas Heartbeat Act marks a historical step in the battle of pro-life, and the organization said, hold on. Opponents of the legislation condemns its passage. Dylan Lemon Mercado, executive director of Planned Parenthood, Texas voter, and the political arms of Planned Parenthood affiliates in Texas, said that 6 weeks cutoff amount to affect ban on abortion in states. Hey, what's up, fans? Make sure you hit the like button. When you factor in the time it takes to confirm a pregnancy, consider your options and make a decision, schedule an appointment. And comply with all the restrictions political has already put in place for patients and providers. A 6-week ban essentially banned abortion outright, she said. Amy Hagstrom Miller, head of Whole Woman Health and abortion provider that has 4 clients in Texas, said the law will have a chilling effect. Ooh, so excited. Protests have previously falsely reports Whole Women Healthy clients to states' health officials for allegedly having the wrong water heater permits, not following social distance protocols, etc. Blah, blah. Let me go down. The false report disrupts healthcare service and culture threats. Accusations is designed to intimidate providers, she said. Let me go down. What is this thing about? I'm going to skip this. The bill was opposed by more than 300 Texas lawyers who said it undermines longstanding rules and tenets of legal systems, including that a person must be injured to sue. The law would also let someone file a lawsuit in their home county against an abortion clinic and stop the case from being transferred to a different venue. Okay. In practice, legal experts say it will be more costly and difficult for abortion providers to play legal defense before a judge hundreds of miles or a judge hundreds of miles away, and it could let anti-abortion advocates be heard in courts that they think will be more sympathetic. Sago, the Texas Right to Life, said, it will be interesting to see how the other kind of alternate avenues handle these debates. We know how Judge Lee Yeakley and Judge Sam Sparks handle these cases, he said, reference to the two federal judge who reliably strikes down Texas abortion restrictions. And we go down. And that's the end of this article, which I probably will include in the description. Now, that's that article. And let me see, take a look, see what's going on here. And I'm seeing that, okay, a few people watching and there's the likes. So I like the likes. Good. Thank y'all. I'm hoping y'all sharing this as well. Come on. Okay, the next one, and this one probably might be a little shorter than the other one. And I'm gonna go far, and then I'll probably see if y'all want me to open this up. Those articles now in the description, you can read for yourself. Now the next article. Oh, how you doing, JT Coin? How you doing, brother? And like always, if y'all guys want me to open this up, press 1. Let me write this down. Okay. Next article. As you see here. Now, this is something that's published recently. The House to vote on abortion rights bill after Supreme Court declines to block restrictive Texas laws. The House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said the House will vote on a reproductive right bill after the Supreme Court declines to block the restrictive Texas abortion laws. The Senate split evenly between Democrat and Republican. It is unlikely to pass the legislation. The Texas law banned most abortions after 6 weeks of pregnancy and allows private citizens to sue providers. The House will vote on reproductive rights bills when it returns later this month, following the Supreme Court refusal to block one of the country's most restrictive abortion laws. That took in Texas it took effect in Texas this week, Speaker Nancy Pelosi said Thursday. The Democrat-held chamber plans to take up of what we call the Women's Health Protection Act. After lawmakers came back to Washington on September the 20th, the legislation led in the House of Democrat Republic Jody Cho of California will establish the legal right to an abortion nationwide and prevent state putting medical unnecessities or necessary restrictions on the procedures. Supporting aims to effectively make the 1973 Roe v. versus Wade, which is now 48 years ago, people, decision of federal law as restricted measures in Texas and other states threaten to undermine the landmark ruling affirming the right for women to have an abortion. Every woman everywhere has the constitutional right to basically health care, Pelosi said in a statement Thursday. The Texas law is the most extreme, dangerous abortion ban in half a century, and its proposed is to destroy Roe v. Wade and even refuse to make exceptions for cases of rape and incest. This ban necessarily, confidently, or codifiably Roe v. versus Wade, she continues. Before we continue, this is very much disingenuous. Very disingenuous, because I'm hearing what their logic in the pushback is about someone that is getting rape or incest. And my thinking is this, especially when it comes to incest and rape, since that's the premise. What is the percentage of people that's engaging and committing rape of women, where rape leads to conception? And I'm using the word rape very loosely because I'm saying present for the purpose of this stream, is because this is the argument you're hearing dumb people, some women, majority women, and some males saying, oh, what about incest and rape? People not getting raped out here like that. I'm sorry. This is the honest truth. They're not getting sexually violated. They're not being touched in certain ways. All this nonsense, and I mean nonsense loosely, that is really the cause of the amount of unwanted pregnancy in America. So stop it, please. We got to be very intellectually honest here. And I think we're not being honest enough. We're not being honest enough indeed. And the reason why I'm saying this is because, let's be fair, honest. This bill was designed to cut back of certain people that's being, I like to call it, depopulated. Now, mind you, when we talk about the black community, they don't really care if black women go left and right, just, aborting their babies. They don't really care about that. This bill is more focused on America, but only a certain set of Americans that they don't want to be getting access and freely just going around the clinic and using the abortion clinic as a form of condom. That's how I see it. That's how I see it. And that's what they have decided and concluded. There's no way around it. I'm just looking through, guys. All right, so that's, I'm scrolling, I'm scrolling. All right, let me continue reading on to this. I just want to find the end of this article. Despite her narrow majority in the House, Pelosi may have enough votes to pass the bill. However, it faces steep odds of passage in the Senate. The Democrat caucus holds only 50 seats in the Senate, where the measure would need 60 votes to pass. Only two Republican senators, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska and Susan Collins of Maine, support abortion rights. The Supreme Court refused to block the Texas restriction in a 5-4 decision late Wednesday. Chief Justice John Roberts joined the court. Three Democrat appointees, Justice and dissenting. The law bans most abortions as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy, when many women may not know they are pregnant. Private citizens are also allowed to file civil lawsuit against abortion providers, potentially bogging them down in costly litigations. People affected by the Texas law could still file a legal challenge to the measures. It could take months or years for a case to reach the Supreme Court. President Joe Biden on Thursday called the court's decision on unprecedentedly assaulting on a woman's constitutional rights on the Roe v. Wade, which has been the law of the land for about 50 years. No, I mean, sorry, not 50 years, 48 years. Please get the math right. However, he has limited powers to combat state law unless Congress passes legislation. In his statement Thursday, Biden said he would direct the executive branch to identify ways to protect abortion rights in Texas. An additional case before the Supreme Court posed a threat to Roe v. Wade. The court is set to hear arguments this year about a Mississippi law that, if it takes effect, would ban most abortions after 15 weeks. Now, 15 weeks is roughly, if my math is right, that's 2.5 months. Because wait, let me make sure. No, actually, it's 3.5 months. It's not a lot. Let's stop sharing that. Yeah. Let me see who's active. Let me get a look. Okay. Hello, JT Coins. Jay, I said it. Okay. So everybody's listening, and I guess let me see the poll. But before I look at the poll, let me say something to y'all. You got to understand, Roe v. versus Wade was only temporary here in the United States, because the legalization of abortion from as little as 20 weeks. So they say. And I've known of a few females from my side that commit what we call the abortions over 20 weeks in certain states, mind you. In certain states. And me saying this to y'all know that law that we have now that's in the books before the law in Texas was put in place to make it less than over a month and a few weeks, is that women on average have always found ways to go and slide by and get those abortions over the timetable you're supposed to get them. And majority of Planned Parenthoods allowed it. And here's a little secret that people never told you about Planned Parenthood, besides all the prenatal care they said they offer. The money where they really make their money is not only you pay for the abortion, but they really make their money off those aborted fetuses to use as stem cell or other byproducts off that fetus that comes out of your body, ladies, that unborn child. And trust me, I've seen videos of abortion. It's not pretty. It's definitely not pretty. is very disgusting. It will make you sick as a person to see that any person in their right state of mind will sit there and kill their own child for a reason. And knowing this, and I say knowing this loosely, that it's a cop out when you had to go out your way and go through that precautions. Now, I set the link here if y'all want to join and give your commentary throughout this whole stream. It is free, is optional. I know people watching and they don't want to respond because dealing with this subject at hand is very touching. It is not sensitive, in my opinion. I think people are more anger than sensitive because, let's be honest, we got a set of people from all communities, especially this Black community, that loves to kill babies. Now, I didn't want to believe it because I always think when women go out there and this, commit the abortions, usually is when they're like young and the mother probably send them and kill them. That's what was my thinking years ago or decades ago. But now, as I gotten older and hearing stories of women that sit there, just go in the clinic after a nice fling in the bed with a male or a man, instead of using protection, rather the condom or pill or shot or UV or all these Depo-Provera or all these little gizmos, so you don't have to worry about getting pregnant if you're going to engage in sex acts. A lot of people are not using those products. And I think most women, I'm saying most, are not on it, protecting themselves, especially if they're having loose sex with different men. Or even the man that you're with or you with right now. And he's sitting there just shooting the club freely right on a condom. He's already giving you the green mark that he wants to pregnate you. And we do have some baby maker males out here. I ain't going to deny that. But it's your job as a woman to really spot that off the bat. But we all know when it comes to human nature, we are more attracted when we're sexually attracted. And most women today, unfortunately, and not guided, are very loose and very promiscuous because they never had no structure in their lives. We could say maybe the father could play more better role. And I said that might work. And it's been effective, but we all know if in this Western hemisphere, where they're promoting sex on an all-time high from the music, the images, from the porn, especially porn, that it creates a curiosity to young people, young women and young men. I mean, if I told you stories for what I've heard that I never experienced when I was young, where I didn't know even children as old as 8, 9 years old are fucking in school. Yes. Now you think that this is some fairy tale, that this is not what's going on in a lot of our communities. But young kids that's not even over the age of 16 are getting in very young. Now, is there cause and effects to this? Yes, possibly. And it probably is. But to find that sexual promiscuity is going on in our communities like this, that what's going to happen and what's have been going on for decades now is that you have an uncontrolled producing children that either young girls or young boys, wherever the age is, whether consensual or not, are using Planned Parenthood as another buffer of condom to keep zapping up the bodies to kill these fetuses. And it's been going very effective in the communities across America. And now that the states especially are now stepping in to say enough is enough. You're not going to just go and decide to just have this sex, whether you're conscious or not, and get conceived and come to the clinic and start born babies. Now, I said earlier about the rape and incest. I'll say this personally because it's not really high percentage-wise. And I don't like using numbers because this is where we get caught up as people and the stats. But let's say that has happened to you, depending on your age. It is your rightful duty especially a young woman, to go tell. And if you can't trust the parents that's with you that did this to you, the next best thing, and this is my thing. This is what I don't understand. And I'm gonna do this little rant for a little bit. That you go to school and they always be checking on you or doing some nature to know if there's any form of abuse in the home. And if they would have fought or found something, now mind you, this is why I'm speaking, keeping it real. Normally they will report DCS to have an investigation. That's how I think that's how DCS and Child Protective Service used to function back then. But it seemed to me that they are dropping the ball in regards to having communications with these children, boys and girls, especially the girls. The mother or father's not getting locked up to knowing that they will not be paying attention if their child has been sexually abused or they're having sex and getting knocked up. And they get in, and a lot of our people, especially if you know you go in the school system, they do get in these children's business to know what's going on so they can get at the parents so they could take you away from the parents. And not all children should be taken away from the parents. It should be a really good reason for that to happen. But we all know when it comes to sex, and as Planned Parenthood stands as it is, they need those aborted fetuses. Yeah, they do need it. But now I'm telling you personally, and I'll be honest with y'all, this is actually a curse more than a blessing, because now Planned Parenthood that still exists, and they're not going nowhere anytime soon, regardless if you hear rumor that they're being defunded, they're going to be used as a hub to get those fetus much faster now. Now, hear me out, because I just came to revelation that if now you're saying in Texas is one state and it's going to lead to other states by the end of this year, going on next year, and I'll say by before 2023, when it marks 50 years of Roe versus Wade, I wouldn't be surprised it's completely removed. And I predict it's going to be removed eventually. That they need those fetuses from melanated women. Not just anyone, but just the melanated woman especially need those fetuses. And I know saying that you're going to be the one that knows that you only have a timetable to check if you're pregnant and to terminate. A month and a few weeks is the short end of the stick of when you could terminate. And for beyond that, most of these institutions are not going to go ahead with the procedure if they want to. And the reason why, because they don't want to be hit with no fines, harsh fines. And we all know in any institution, they're in the business of making money. They can't make money when they know they have to keep, and I mean keep on paying lawsuits for boarding. So, like I said, they're not going to keep doing that. And so what they do now to make insurance that they're going to get the return and get these fetuses at a more quicker rate, you cut it down from 4 months, which is 20 weeks, to now a month and a few weeks, which to me is sick but ingenious at the same way. So I want that for y'all to marinate on that one. Oh, what's good, Shatter? The link's in the chat room if you want to come up. So now I'm probably going to open the floor for those that want to respond on this, give their take. I'll probably be on here for like another maybe 30 minutes at best. And let's be fair and honest. This is, like I said early in the stream, is not a nice and popular subject to talk about, because I know how people are sensitive about abortion. I'm not an advocate of women terminating their children for a reason. There are scenarios where let's have this conversation. Let's say incest and rape has ensued in the process of you conceiving. I said this and I'll say this once. It is your responsibility, depending on your age, conscious or unconscious, that you must report it to the authorities. Not just your loved ones and your family, if you can trust them, but you should go straight to the authorities. That's why they're there for it. Because if that happened to you, now you as a young lady create a paper trail for them to really examine the situation. And it also protects you because now you have actual paper trail and paperwork to show and prove that your conception was forced. It was not brought upon on good faith. And now you have the ability now to get rid of a baby that was not to your will, that you didn't want this baby to come through. That's the only protection. If any advice, if you didn't hear this anywhere else, you hear this on Chaos Reign, that's the best advice you can go about if you were molested and raped and you might think you might be pregnant. You should take action immediately. Because in that bill, it doesn't really say much about it, but they are going to be lenient and make exceptions to that bill. Guarantee they will make exceptions to the bill. And not only that, now when women are starting to talk up and saying that they were conceived while they were, I guess, molested or touched or raped, we won't call it, now it's going to create a new bill. See how that works? It creates a new bill where now they have to restructure the bill once they go by Roe versus Wade to create a new bill. If you commit incest and rape of any young woman and she's conceived, not only she has the right to terminate the child, but you will do life in jail. I want y'all to follow me here. Now you have created a buffer for them to create a new law. Now I know somebody's going to steal this. And I expect this. But I'm just telling you honest truth. That's how you fight back on any bill that's put against you that will hurt you in the long run. So let me look at the chat room. Yes, they do, House of L. And those days are going to be over. And those days are over. They can't use that as another form of concept. Women think that they're going to go out and have all the sex they want and fuck and suck all the dicks and then come and find that they're pregnant and go to the institution for salvation. They're sadly mistaken. So I think that's pretty much it. I know people are watching. Normally the recap of this, 2 articles were read during this live stream. I advise you go back and listen into those 2 articles. I know most people have covered it. They talk in lengths about this. They have not really read the article personally, in my opinion. If I really type it up, maybe the news might have covered this, possibly, but I said possibly. But I think Chaos Reign, as like always in the world of chaos, there only could be a greater, more extreme chaos to restore the order in which the world you live in today. Only that will solve and restructure this chaotic world we live in and bring back what we call real order. Let's look here. Another comment. One female told me she didn't get on birth control because abortion was easy for one. Let me read it again. One female told me she didn't get on birth control because abortion was easy for her. Yeah, and here's the problem and the danger of that, the House of L. Her doing that, she hurt her chances of actually carrying a baby to full term. And we all know, and trust me, if I told y'all personally, the few women that I've interacted with that told me, and I kind of draw it out of them that they go get abortions, y'all ladies' stomach will turn. I'm telling you right now, y'all stomachs will turn if I told you the few stories. Yeah. I know of one lady, one woman that I talked to personally said that she knows. Yeah, she had 4 abortions. Yeah. I know one woman told me that she knew a woman that had like, I think 8 or 9 abortions. And out of that 8 or 9, she killed the baby within almost 9 months of giving birth. She just to terminate the baby. Yeah. So don't be fooled that 20 weeks you could abort the child. No, some of these same institutions will have you abort the child during the time that you about to deliver. So, in the step in the right direction, this heartbeat bill, this abortion bill is a necessity. And I see many states to come are going to follow suit. Yeah. She told me she had like 8 or 9. This is like, how long ago was this? Like 3, 4, 5. I think it was like 5 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, if I can remember. It was a long time, man. Yeah, but she had like that many abortions. And the last one she had, she was just about to be due, and she just killed the baby. Now I thought she was trolling me and lying to me, but she looked at me dead in my face and said she was dead serious. She know of a friend that does this. Yes, this does exist, and it tells you. And now mind you, I heard about the same man series that talk about black women getting too much abortions. And I agree, the abortions are somewhat a problem, but I didn't think it was bad. But when I think about the response, a lot of our people, especially these Negro males, the excuses, the pushback, it's unheard of. As a man, you think this is a good move in the right direction. But the dudes, let me tell you the secret, ladies. If you want to know you have a real dusty, unresponsible, no accountability male, ask him what's his views on abortion. Do you hear me? Ask him his views on abortion. If he thinks abortion is cool and a man should have the decision that he wants the baby terminated, turn around and run. Because that's a man that's not going to take responsibility and will go as far as he doesn't want to be a father. It is what it is. Toxic wombs, yes. It is what it is. It's nature of the beast and nature of certain women that they will kill that baby in a given notice and brush your teeth and wash their face like it's nothing. It's sick. So to find that most males have a problem with this bill, ladies, right there, you know who you deal with. If you're around any male and he has a problem with this bill. And gentlemen, fellas, if a woman has a problem with this bill and you're in a relationship with her, 9/10 of the time, I think it's time for you to pack your shit and end that relationship. If I were you, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Because no one hell as a race of people, any people, well, let's say for the sake of conversation, let's talk about black people for a moment. If you have a problem with the bill that's put in Texas about abortion, it tells me one of two things. You have no accountability, you have no discipline, and you're sick as fuck. That's what I'll label you. You're sick as fuck. So many gay men are angry about this abortion thing. Yeah, I mean, we could say the sexuality could be questioned. I mean, we could say that. I ain't knocking it. Yeah, we could say that. Oh yeah. Oh shit. I'm sorry, guys. I put the. Hold on, guys. 1 second. 1 second. uh, where is this? I'm just checking some guys. 1 second. No matter of fact, before I do anything, let me do this. Look, I have my boy Shatter on the line. Let me mute this. Give me a second, guys. Hold on, let me see if they can hear you. Say something, Shatter.
Yo, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, they can hear you. I see the verbiage. Okay. Yeah, man. I was talking about because you in the state of Texas, bro, and I'm not sure if you read it or they talked about on the news in your home state of Texas about the abortion law. Have they?
Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of coverage, man. It's been getting a lot of coverage here.
A lot has a lot of people draw pushback, especially our side of the things from the men and women in our camps.
I'm seeing a lot of pushback from outside the state. I've heard AOC make a lot of comments on it, and some of the regular characters in the liberal sector. Not as so much with people that I've seen in Texas lately, women and stuff like that. I don't really see a big pushback on a little bit, but not much. There was a bomb threat called into some pro-life organizations that they had to deal with the other day. So there's definitely some pushback for sure, which I don't see the problem with it. I mean, I can see people, like you were saying, sexually abused and incest and stuff like that. That's common sense. Women should have that right and choice, I believe, if they was, and like you had said, you're right. They need to go to the authorities immediately, and that person should do life automatically. If it's proven,
exactly.
They should do automatic life, bro.
Yes. And the reason I'm saying this, and I tell people that will listen to this, why people should take action. I don't care what age you are. And here's the funny thing about the Shatter. I know you have kids. I don't have kids yet. There's a point where when it comes to children, girls especially, the schools always constantly ask a question, checking on the children. You get me? They never stop doing it because they have CDS, Child Protective Service, all this in place for any situation. Even if a child doesn't say nothing, most teachers or any department, they start to pay attention to certain children's behavior. You get me?
Right.
And to find that, let's say molestation rate has brought forth, right?
Through school system or through
no. Just outside the school system. Let's say outside the school system for now, because they talk about incest, right? Or molestation, right. Or all this stuff. And at times I use the R word repeat, but I want y'all to follow me for a second. That this is the major caveat that people are saying that this bill is bad because of this. And if we go waste time with their so-called data, we could find that it's not even 10% of the situation in regards to conception here in America.
Oh, no.
It's less. It's not even pushing 3%. So when people are using this as an excuse, saying this bill can't pass because why would somebody this, that, and conceive? Okay, if that was the case, then that person, if that was true, I'm not denying it, then someone has to face legal action, which is there's going to cause time for jail time. Because when you report it, instead of keeping your fucking mouth shut or whatever case may be, now you advocate this same person to commit the same behavior. And here's a weird thing.
You're basically tacitly approving of the behavior in that case.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I've seen also women in general. I've actually had one on a panel, and we got onto this abortion subject. And to chime back in, I'm glad you had mentioned the data, because once again, statistics, you know what I'm saying, don't lie. And if we go just basically on the statistics of, on average, the demographic of who is using the Planned Parenthood, these type of services, some of them are provided free. There's even been pushback on the right, where some of these people in the school system, social workers and more, where like they would tell the child, hey, you know, if you're pregnant, come to us first before you come to the parents, and we'll help you get an abortion, and your parents won't have to know. They've even been caught doing that. And usually they're the demographic of African American or Hispanic American in general cases. Now, I still have some white people that do it, but for the most part, it's generally people of color that are being exposed to this. And I had spoke to this lady about the data, and basically, what she basically said was, of course, when I start speaking about data, people try to cut me off. She was doing that, and I said, well, ma'am, listen, I don't have to sit up here and go back and forth. She was saying that her data was showing that there was no woman that she knew of. Now, I know she's being intentionally obfuscacious of this, because that she knew of that received a free abortion through use of state programs, charity programs, Planned Parenthood, that every woman that she knew that ever got abortion paid full price for abortion. And I kind of wanted to wish she was on video so that I could give her that side eye. Because I'm like, come on, man. Now, you know that's a lot. I know one woman that has gotten 9 abortions. 9. And not only did she get 9 abortions, but she, on the 10th one, I'm surprised she still could have a baby after that many abortions. On the 10th one, she actually had the child. But what's so crazy about it was what kind of upset me was, I knew her, and all the babies before were by brothers, and she had the colorism thing in it, where she was like, I don't want no baby that's dark skinned. The girl was darker skinned, you know, so her boyfriends at the time was brothers, you know what I'm saying, brown or to the darker skin brown. And she aborted all of those. And then after that, on the 10th one, she got with a Hispanic guy and had babies, never aborted any babies with them. And then, you know, she just kind of set the tone of a lot of the women saying they don't. And out of those 9 babies, she never paid for any of those abortions. So I knew that was a lie what the woman was saying. I said, man, they are encouraging our young women to abort the children at a higher clip than white women. And the rebuttal from her was basically, well, that's fake data, because they're getting that data from people who stand outside of the abortion clinic and count how many women come out of the Planned Parenthood. But I'm like, that's not proper data, because you have women that go to these clinics for birth control. You have women that go to these clinics for STDs. You have women go to these clinics for well-woman chicks. So you couldn't make a positive amount of data out of that. The data that we do get is on the successful abortion of a child that is noted in CDC. They note that because it's done with federal money. And I'm sure that there's more that go on the books that we don't hear about. But if you look at the bear share, it's usually African American and Hispanics at usually a 30% higher rate than any other race in America. And that's facts. And I don't see why black people, especially black women, won't realize that is kind of knocking down our numbers tacitly, even now.
Well, they know this. And I'm going to say this personally. We're talking about the stupid statistical data. It's only used as a weapon when we're dealing with other people within our group. Women use data in regards to backlash and reflection of the fault of the man, black man especially. But when the data is turned back on them, now they're saying the data is wrong and all stuff. Because it's a nana boo-boo, I got you, you're not right, I'm right. It's that type of mentality which leads to this destruction behavior of our communities.
The lack of accountability.
Yeah, the accountability is very toxic in this community. They talk about men don't have no accountability. You're delusional. you live in America. Men are always accountable for everything. That's why there's no let up on child support, certain things, criminality, all that. That's accountability. You don't have that as a woman. What accountability you have as a woman? And see, let's point the same fingers at the ladies, if we want to be honest. What accountability you hold in this society, ladies? That's a question. I'll wait.
Yeah, that's a good question, man. That's a good question. I mean, as far as men, what I can speak on, I know for sure when it comes down to reproductive accountability, we as men have the responsibility to not only, of course, which I don't think real men have a problem with supporting their children, whether that's with child support financially, emotionally, mentally. We do that. Of course, we're held accountable.
Yes.
And also for the financial burden of it, and also not even your biological children. If you just so happen to be married to a woman and she has kids, you're being married to her. If the divorce proceedings were to commence today, and you've been with her past the annulment stage, she could actually take her lawyer in there and file within her rights, depending on whatever state, to be able to have alimony and child support be paid for those kids that aren't even yours. Basically, the accountability of men is very high. So when they speak on these things and they start talking about statistics, I think that we should all make sure that we put the right statistics in the right place, and let's not just count them when they're in favor of us. Let's be fair and let's count the statistics properly for all, because men are definitely accountable, and the men that aren't accountable, who are constantly, as they say, having babies with these women who are the deadbeat guys, the deadbeat dads, or what have you. We also have to say, well, women, you have to take accountability of the men that you're sleeping with, because as men, we have to take accountability of if we're sleeping with a ratchet baby mama. We have to take accountability from that. From our peers, from our family, from the system. We have to take accountability for our children. So we also have to make sure that, keep it fair, that our female counterparts also should be able to hold and take accountability for some of the deadbeat dads that they choose to lay down with and then produce a child with that guy.
Yeah. Well said. So, like I said, there's very little. Oh, wait. Women pick and choose who can avoid be accountable. Correct, House L. Correct. Yes.
Well, and to speak on that, for sure, he's definitely right, House L, because I've seen some of this situation go both ways, right? A brother would, and usually in my experience, and I've seen, I can't speak for all, but in my experience, women that have multiple children by multiple men, a lot of the brothers who are, let's just say, more well-to-do, more established, maybe actually want to be a part of their children's lives more so, successful in their field, more financially accountable, fiscally accountable. Those men at a higher clip are held responsible, whereas I've seen where that same woman with the other child's father, who is, let's say, not financially responsible, not accountable, and doesn't show as much time and love to the children and rearing them, they never go to the state and, put them out there like that. And at a higher clip, you would see more of the successful brothers that actually want to be a part of their children's lives. They usually get the child support suit before the, for lack of a better word, the Pookie Ray Ray. I hate using that term, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I follow it. Yeah. I guess I lay my points across in this whole stream. Before I wrap this up, I've noticed lately, I was looking at Facebook just now, and it looked like these so-called female celebrities are really going at younger males. I find it very odd in regards to mates. Very odd. And when we talk about, say, the age gap, it's a lot of issue with a lot of men picking young women, and they try to demonize it. But now I'm finding a few women, and we could say celebrities now, look good and seeking younger males as mates. And I remember KS saying, okay, what you doing with a man that's could be old? Well, he says, I'm saying, I was reading it, saying this boy could be the same age as your son. Why are you dealing with him? Oh, you're dealing for control.
Right.
So
right.
I don't give a fuck what anyone tells me. Said that they're more. I'll tell you something. I was hearing from Clubhouse, and a lady said the best, that they're more easy, they're more reasonable, and they're willing to learn. I'm saying, what the fuck he needs to learn from you? You should be the reverse. You should be learning from him as much as possible.
So, you know, I mean, the cougar aspect of it, I've seen that over the years. It definitely has gotten more prevalent now that we can see it more so. The data is quantified by the social media and the thirst trapping of it with the older women. We can see it now more. I think it was happening years ago, but it was more frowned upon, and it was kind of kept in the shade. An older woman messing with a younger guy that might have been, you know, almost could be his, you know, her sons.
Yeah,
it was very frowned upon, and other women would frown upon that. But now in this age, it seems like the women who do frown upon it are so shamed into not saying anything about it that they are giving tacit approval of it. Not all, but a big enough amount don't say anything about it. And they say, well, girl, you know, she's doing her thing. She's 45 years old and she's dating a 21-year-old or a 19-year-old. Whereas we just flip the coin. We don't have to go far. Just flip the coin right quick. And you got a 50-year-old man dating a 19-year-old girl or a 20-year-old. You know, they going to call him some names. And I don't even want to say them names they're going to call him on your stream. But you can pretty much estimate what they would call him.
I mean, my thing is this, at the end of the day, I'm not really too much advocate of way over age gaps overall, in my opinion. I have a stream that I was supposed to cover this, and I still have it in the studio that I eventually will cover eventually. Okay. But my thing is this, and I know a content creator did cover this, that throughout the world is only the first age gap on the average is 10 years. And usually the male is 10 years older than the woman. Get me? On the so-called average. Now, when we look at now, most women that's dating in the pool that's in their 20s, they will date someone that's almost their same age or a few years older, which is almost right on the mark, 7 or 10 years or 5. You get me? But my thing is this, that to find out women that are post-wall, no one's checking for them, and they either keep themselves up to par if they pay for surgery, which most black women do now. I don't want to say that, but they are now at that same direction like the Caucasus woman in regards to getting BBLs, other augmentations in their bodies.
And some actually take the traditional route, you know, with exercise and diet. Some take the surgery the easy way out. A lot of them do that, we know for sure. But then, you know, you have the ones that are actually traditionally, working out and working with their diet, watching the caloric intake. And to me, I think it's a great deal. You know, when I was young, I had a couple of older women that was definitely hot on me, and I definitely was, you know, fucking with them. But it's like, they was kind of approaching, you know what I'm saying, that 30-some year, you know, age gap. And I'm, let's say, for example, 20, and she's 30, right? And I noticed what you had said earlier. It brings it back to that. You remind me of that, because usually it's for control, and then she's trying to act like tacitly like your mother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they want to teach you something, like you said, teaching. So basically, I was already on my note because I left the home at an early age and had to be on my own and learn. And I learned how to do a lot of things that, you know what I'm saying, feed myself, cook, clean, wash my own clothes, take care of my business. That I didn't need a woman to do that. It's great to have it, but I didn't need a woman to do it. You know what I'm saying? So one day I went to the grocery store with her, and I already had everything that, you know, I pretty much spend my money a certain way in the grocery store. We were there, and she's like, oh, I want to grab some of this, grab some of that. I said, okay, cool. And then I was grabbing certain items, you know, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to make this right here, you know, some chicken. I'm going to do this here with this. I got some I'm meal planning in there. She straight up broke down, went crazy, and like ran out the store. The people thought that I like slapped a woman or something. Mm-hmm. People looking at me, white folks like, oh shit, what the hell you did to her? I'm like, man, I just told her I wanted to get some hamburger help over here and some hamburgers instead of buying this bullshit. And she's running out of there, going crazy, crying and shit. And I'm like, well, what's the problem? I get to the car, I'm like, hey man, you know, what's going on? What's the problem? Mm-hmm. She's like, oh, you so young, I'm older than you. You act like you know everything. You act like you are so much better than us. Well, no, it's not like that. I'm just saying, you know, you don't have to tell me what I need to buy at the store. I know I'm number 20 years old, but, you know, my family and just being in the mix on my own, I had to learn how to do a lot of this stuff. And I learned to feed myself on a smaller budget and then still get good food and make meals out of it. And I don't need you to tell me what to buy at the store. And when I said that, it broke her psyche of that mother type of thing, like where you can tell a younger guy what you want. And when I broke that mold on her, it was like, you know, that Matrix character when, you know, when Neo hit him in their head almost like about to explode. It was kind of like one of those moments. And I was like, damn. And now that you say that, I was like, yeah, you know, I can see how that could be accurate on what you're saying.
I see. Yeah, man. My thinking is this, how I look at it, that this was already coming. The atmosphere of the Cougar was set a precedent from Stellar got her groove back in the late 90s. I forgot, I don't know if it was 96 or 97. That was already set a precedent to what is to come. You get me?
The way they feel also.
All right. That too. This is already in the making because they start off with programming you first with propaganda, and eventually women are going to follow suit in regards to the environment. You get me?
Right. They're more susceptible to the general propaganda than men are usually. But they're like you were saying earlier, a lot of these dudes coming out the way and got some problems with abortion, and usually men wouldn't have really too much to say in the opposite of that because they may have had a woman that aborted their child when they didn't want the child to be aborted. Usually the man wouldn't have, but now they got men and even gay men, like the man was saying earlier, that's having something to say about it, and like in the simps too. You can't leave them out. Yeah. That's got something about like they trying to roll on their side of things and not understanding that woman is not gonna give you no brownie points because you simping behind. The men nowadays are starting to fall into some more of that propaganda, whereas years ago we were less susceptible, and now the propaganda is starting to work on these younger brothers to, you know, it's sad, but you know, I have to speak on it as it is and what I've seen, and that's definitely true. Some of the men now are actually agreeing with some of this propaganda, whereas back in the days we were pretty much immune to it from what I saw. But now it seems to be working on some of these brothers, which is very sad.
Yeah, I mean, I see moving forward that the men that's already moving onto the direction, if they're not getting a woman before 35 of, let's say, their age or maybe a few years younger, they're just going to go straight younger. It is what it is. And no institution or any woman could shame them from doing this. You get me? And I'm be honest with you, I don't play that double standard bullshit. You get me? If you go around, I don't know if you're a celebrity or wherever woman you are, and you fucking suck at a man or a boy that could be your son, I don't give you much praise. I lose a lot of respect for you. You get me? That tells me you do not want to submit and be held accountable to even deal with a man that's older. Because a man that's really well known himself is going to expect and demand something from you. And what it shows me as an adult, just like you, Shatter, that most women are not capable of grasping or keeping a well productive man. In my eyes.
I think that with the just the experience that I've seen, also looking at some of these other problems that some of these younger brothers that are going through, and some of them celebrities, they should be smart enough to know that one girl, I can't remember her name.
Brittany Renner?
Yeah, man, I saw that deal that she put out the other day about my brother that's in the league, and how she was just saying, like, you know, women, this is what you need to do. You just go and get you, you know, y'all got all these Pookies and Ray Rays, but y'all just need to just stop complaining about that and go get you a basketball player or a football player or somebody like that. Go ahead and get pregnant by him and just leave him. That's the easiest way to do it. And, you know, that's
so this is what Brittany Renner said, right? That's what she said, right?
Live your truth. Live your truth. I live in my truth, and my truth is that.
So her truth is to be a cum dumpster and to hope some man's gonna fit the bill and pay for it, right?
That's what she said her truth was. I mean,
and the she wrote a book now, and it tells me, okay, we know where you stand and who you qualify. And after she did that, she was up there right at again dealing with musicians, rappers, hip hop artists. That's her lane. And let me tell you something. Most of these rappers and hip hop artists will fuck her and entertain her because they're just dumb as just like some of these athletes, unfortunately. And let's be honest, you're dealing with, if you're taking somebody that just got drafted in the league, yeah, you're gonna take even full advantage because young males today don't have no guidance, bro. The purpose
I would look at it like this: if you want to take the strongest of the strongest, right, of your group, okay. Usually, I mean, the gladiator aspect. If we was looking at it in the gladiator aspect, only a certain amount of percentage of our brothers make it to the league. All right?
Yeah, like maybe over 1%, maybe possibly.
Right, possibly. Okay. And a lot of other brothers who are way more qualified get knocked down before they can get there. And sometimes it's just not enough spots, right? Mm-hmm. And then you have the women who are equally of good genetics, of, you know, attractiveness, everything. You would want to have that combination so that the children can be genetically blessed. And then when they create the grandchildren, you can keep your lineage strong. We can make more stronger people and let the man raise the child. And you don't want to leave him because you want to create the family and make that unit strong as possible so that we could have a more better outlook as far as the more stronger genetic blast, and then also the stronger rearing. You have money. Obviously, she has money. The brother has money. So now you can get that generational wealth, like we was talking about earlier. That generational wealth started, you know, even if your family wasn't the best, his family wasn't the best, but y'all made it. Okay, mm-hmm. For whatever reason, y'all made it. So now we need to try to stick together to keep this generational wealth and make our children be stronger. And that is what we need. But with the outlook of some of these women and some men as well, where you just pump and dump on the men's side, and then on the women's side, well, I'm just have sex with the most richest guy I can get and then leave him. Well, where does that leave the children? Does that make them a better child? Does that make your family unit stronger? I would make the argument that it makes the family unit weaker, and then it just spreads spreads you around too much when you could be just focusing just specifically on the family unit that you created.
Yeah, man.
That's a theory, Chaos. You know, not right or wrong. I'm just saying, you know, I'm just looking at it, you know, from objectively.
But my thing is always been like that. It's always been like that. And we are not at a point in our development that it is either what we call sink or swim. And women are going to do what is necessary at the end of the day. That's how I see it. You know, I don't knock that type of that shit she did, but let's be honest. She is of many predators to come. You get me?
Oh yeah.
And let's be honest, with the so-called manosphere space everywhere, they are re-educating these males. And I'm gonna say this person. I remember when I was listening to Little Big Nate show a day ago, yesterday or so, and one particular sister, I know, or I've dealt with in panels, she was very troubled in regards to how the young girls are feeling towards the young black males in the communities, how they're not really checking for them, their behavior is different, like they're not really interacting with them. And to me, this is what we call, or like I call, the sins of the mothers, of the daughters to the mothers. You get me? That these boys have been raised solely by you for too many generations, roughly 3 generations. Look what the adverse effect it costs. They didn't want nothing to do with you now. You know what I'm saying? And I say it's personal because
the net result.
The net result is a result for this. So now women, and not say that a woman can't venture off and try her chance outside the community and maybe outside the race, possibly. But let's be honest, there's no guarantee. It's much more difficult, and it's really could be dangerous if you think about it overall.
Good luck with that shit.
Yeah. And the reason why, because they have concluded that you're going to be a combustor to not only the male in this community, but other men, which is already evident already. And I don't want to say that, but as I'm looking at the environment and how you behave, and I hear conversation with other races of men, it's not something nice. You get me?
Well, were you able to catch the one that Kev had? He had one where it was like our mothers hurting their daughters or something like that. I can't remember the exact title, but it was a mother on there. She was a light-skinned lady. Her daughter was actually in the video while she was talking to Kev, cooking dinner or something like that. And he asked, was basically her daughter being taught, or is she ready to become a wife? And the woman immediately had said yes, and then she delineated the bullet points of why she felt that her daughter was. And she immediately went to, well, she's honor roll, and you know, she's going to go to college and get this certain degree and this, that, and the other. And Kev stopped. He was like, hold on. I asked you, is she ready to become a wife? Not if she's going to be a great citizen and this, that, and the other, but is she ready to become a wife? And the woman was kind of stumped. She was kind of like confused a little bit, it seemed like to me. And when Kev was just basically lining it up to her, he was like, well, look, if she's in school, and the woman, well, yeah, she's going to meet her husband in school. Well, yeah, you're basically telling her, well, to go ahead and have sex with these men and date these men, aka have sex with these men who she does not plan on being her husband. How would those men teach her how to be a wife to the husband? And she didn't have a response for that. She couldn't figure that one out. And I said, see, that's the problem when you have the mother that is not being able to tell her how to be a wife because she has never been a wife.
Mm-hmm. Hey, it is what it is. I mean, to be a wife in this society, you gotta be humble. Yeah, it takes work, and it takes a certain submissiveness to really listen into what men really want. And I think majority of women today are not willing to take the task, to take the investment and time, and to know what men really want, to become better women for the men of today and tomorrow. But that's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna wrap this up. In conclusion to this, like I said, change has come now, ladies and gentlemen, and you're going to have to accept it as is, and accept it you must, because, like I said, that free sex or just to go around and just having unprotected or uncontrolled sex and think that you're just gonna take an easy cop out and kill the baby, those days are actually done, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm hoping now with this bill and the rest of states are going to follow suit, and I give this another year or two before 50 years mark the Roe v. versus Wade. I think before it reaches that or it gets to that, we're going to go back to where it was before they created this law back in 73. So if you're a person that has uncontrollable urge and you like to fuck us up all over the place, be cautious. You've been warned. I'd like to thank everybody for listening to today's stream. If you're new to this Cast Ring channel, please hit the what we call it, hit the red button and hit the top bell. Also, you can follow me now on Twitter at CastRain7, and you could also now add me as friend Eric Rain on Facebook. That's in the chat room, and I'll probably will put it in links in the description. But like always, take care. Oh, I forgot. I apologize. The poll. What did the poll say? Hold on. I'm taking a look now, guys. Wait till it manufacturers. It'll tell me in a second. All right. It looks like we got 100% say yes. It's too soon for abortion. But like always, people, I don't care at this point. Whether you like it or not, abortion's here to stay. So, you know what it is. So it is what it is. The Eagles ring.